Welcome back, everybody, to Industry Talks. My name is Michael Bates. I am here today with a good friend of mine that we've known each other for,
A couple decades.
about 20 years, probably.
Yeah.
So for a long, long time, Alek Salfia. I'm going to let you kind of introduce yourself and what you do, but I guess you're off-brand but on-brand for this podcast, because this podcast, the vision of this was just everything industrial. So having Alek on is a different side of the industrial world that, we don't deal with as much, but it's extremely important in our world because I guess you're kind of the start of when we come in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that kind of,
in some ways, yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So you're kind of the beginning. So I'll let you kind of talk about who you work for and what you do.
Yeah, so I work at CBRE, in industrial brokerage. So we handle leasing. We work with tenants, both sides of the table. Here in Charlotte, which is a really big little city. I've been there for just a little over 5 years, and a big part of what we do is assist landlords and developers in leasing their space, and then helping occupiers secure space as well. So
Yeah.
a little bit of everything.
And you primarily only do office. In other words, you always flex, right? Office
yeah,
and
so warehouse.
no, you don't
and
do office. You do
yeah.
flex and
warehouse and then flex with type of industrial product. We sort of stick in our lane with as far as asset type goes. We do collaborate internally, whether assisting a group that maybe needs to secure space in our market, which I'm most of my knowledge is fairly localized, but we do assist tenants with their portfolios, whether those are national or global.
Yeah. So I guess we'll get into your market or our market, but I remember we were talking. I don't remember when we were talking, but it might have been months ago. Was the commercial real estate struggling? Was there a time where it was kind of
So yeah, I think it's a little bit different for everyone. COVID was a massive curveball.
Yeah.
You can see what's happened uptown in our central business district with just office leasing. There's a lot of vacancy, uptown, and I'd like to think that some of that's getting better. The office as a whole is evolving. We've seen some pretty opportunistic groups get out there and try to capitalize on what otherwise is a pretty tough situation. However, when COVID started, industrial really saw a boom. So that's
so you saw the opposite effect
in lease rates and here in Charlotte specifically, some of the major retailers and seeking out Charlotte, and it's been fairly strong. So capital markets has slowed down quite a bit, for obvious reasons with increasing interest rates and the challenges in securing debt and the cost of debt, rising construction costs and just general
everything's so damn expensive.
yeah, exactly. However, we've been a bit sheltered here in Charlotte and just really in the southeast, which we're fortunate for. But we don't know what tomorrow holds.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask next. Is because so with my understanding, so I cover primarily like the upstate South Carolina area.
Right.
Well, that's really all I cover. I don't go into North Carolina technically, even though I work out of Charlotte. But whatever. I see. It seems like there's buildings popping up everywhere.
Yeah, well, York County is one of the largest industrial submarkets of the Greater Charlotte MSA. It is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's a lot going on down here.
It's like every week I hear a new company moving into town, and like we're building X amount of millions of this, like on LinkedIn or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But even like, in the Charlotte area, is that we call them? I remember we spoke about this last time. Spec buildings.
Right.
So developers come buy land, build a warehouse
without a tenant.
Without a tenant.
That's correct. Yep.
Is that slowing or is that staying steady?
So technically net absorption is down a little bit, but that's in part it's a result of a couple different things that have occurred over the last 3 to 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a lot of development in 2021, 2022. And, to give you a point of reference, our market, the General Charlotte MSA, is about 285 billion square feet. Right now, we have about 16 million square feet under construction. Of that, just shy of 25% of that's pre-leased. And it pulls in a couple different things, but I think high level, it does illustrate that there is a lot of activity. There's a lot of companies that want to be here in Charlotte.
So that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
That's not, I mean, I know you're more localized here, but nationwide, I mean, are there spec buildings going up everywhere? Is it more pockets of places?
Right.
Investors are going to build spec buildings in markets that are doing well,
right.
and companies are obviously moving to.
It's where the demand is, right?
Yeah.
It varies regionally. I think here in Charlotte specifically, we have seen consistent population growth quarter over quarter since 2000. Of that, there's a great labor force. I think our unemployment in Charlotte is, it's a little less than the national average, so a little over 3%. But we've got a lot of highly skilled labor force, and I think wages and all that are fairly competitive here as well. But that coupled with the, where we are in connectivity to some of the other major cities, not just in the southeast, but proximity to the ports. There's a lot of reasons why I think people are.
This is a keen market. Why people want to be here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we had a customer that moved, I guess, out in the country, but kind of south, and one of the biggest reasons they picked there was the railroads.
Yeah, that's another one. They're difficult to deal with, but having access to rail is.
I guess it's a lot cheaper way to move things around than.
Right. Well, we've seen distribution, just logistics in general have been really strong, but we've seen a huge uptick in requirements from manufacturers. It definitely applies here in York County, but in Charlotte as a whole, over the course of the last year, it seems like there's been a resurgence of that in Charlotte, which is great. Because a lot of the buildings that you're referring to, that you're driving up and down the I-85, that have a bunch of dock high loading positions and these big,
they're huge
tilt buildings. And a lot of those cater to the more distribution oriented users that are targeting Charlotte. But manufacturing, we've seen a lot of requirements that are coming.
So you're saying manufacturing companies that are moving? You're saying
that's right, or they've at least identified Charlotte as one of the potential locations for their production operations.
I guess this might be a dumb question, but real estate trends, residential and industrial or commercial, do they kind of?
There's a lot of parallels, but I think it is really impacted by the specific asset type. So industrial versus office.
That's
and
true.
Retail. And, there's many instances where I sold some land that was very close to here, where you tell someone their land is worth, generally speaking, this X to Y, this range. With everything that's transpired, just general macroeconomic conditions, that number may look a little bit different, and some of the more savvy groups that either own stabilized assets or sitting on land, they may be a little more reluctant to take that to market. So you've just with that, the cost of capital, there's been a bit of a slowdown there, but we're optimistic moving forward.
Yeah, so you are seeing, because I know the residential side of it's slow. Right now,
it's softened a little bit here. Yeah, I mean, we still, there's over 110 people moving to Charlotte every day. So
it's nuts.
And I think it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
Compared to some of the locations and on the West Coast, but I mean, as far as Charlotte goes, I think we have the second highest rate of millennials moving to Charlotte. I think behind Tampa.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's probably a result of we're a banking hub and
it's pretty cool city.
Yeah, and
NFL,
I'm
NBA, AAA, baseball.
I love Charlotte.
AHL hockey. You got every sport you could
There's a lot to do. Yeah, and then of course, the climate here, and
Yeah.
easy to shoot to the mountains and
Beach.
the coast, and I think generally people around here for the most part are pretty.
Yeah,
nice.
you can do
Yeah,
anything.
that's right.
Yeah, it's been cool because, growing up with you, it's like you went one way and I went the other way, and it's almost full circle because it's like we do something so completely different.
Right.
What's that?
But similar.
What's that? Same but different.
Yeah,
I
that's right.
forgot where that's from. But we so I'll help you out in situations, and you've helped me out with some people out of state. Had that one customer that had questions about whatever he was asking you. I was like, just hit up my buddy Alek. He'll
Right.
Yeah. So it's an interesting partnership, but it's
Well, it's been great. I mean, a lot of the clients that I have that have material handling needs, or just general questions about warehouse and setting up their racking, forklifts, etc.
100%.
It's what's been awesome about our relationship with you guys is knowing that a client that I'm working with, that we've worked very hard to help them secure space and negotiate on their behalf. Well, that's only half the battle. So then, typically when all the TI or tenant improvements are completed, that's when I've been able to help create some connections with you here at SIE, so that you can source forklifts, and I know that you're going to take care of my clients.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, and it's like it's cool being able to, in our adult life, still have
right.
some
Agreed.
we do some stuff together. He does real estate, I do this, but it intermingles, which is sweet.
Does. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I had any more other questions for you on these. I really wanted, because I feel like I remember us talking, and I think that you said you saw a decline, but it seems like it's picked back up. But you already touched on that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just to give a little bit more to it, there's a lot of developers that are trying to break into the Charlotte market, and it's for some of the reasons that we've already discussed. So although there may be less construction starts in the immediate near term, we're still very confident, that we're going to see rental rate growth, that these buildings are going to be absorbed. And I think the outlook, not just in 2024, but over the course of the next 10 years plus, looks strong for Charlotte. Then I'm been fortunate to have gotten into the industry at a time when industrial was definitely on its way up. I mean, we've seen some unprecedented things occurred.
I know it's been nuts.
It's been wild.
It's been
but we only have so much control over.
That's
over
my dad always laughs. He
stuff.
says your professional life, you start. He's like, you got some pretty crazy things happen in the 5 years you've been 6 years, however long we've been doing out of school. He's like,
no doubt.
I mean, pandemic. It's like, yeah, but it's one of those things. When companies you look at Charlotte, do you think a reason why they're going more south is land? There's there can't be that. I don't know where they're finding land in Charlotte unless they're buying.
It's very challenging. We're super land constrained here.
Yeah.
I mean, geographically, Charlotte, if you think just inside the loop, is not very large. But we, labor down here is very strong, and the same is true about Gaston County and moving west and up into Rowan and Iredell. You're pulling in all of these submarkets, but you see a lot of general growth, especially in distribution, because proximity and interstate access is massively important.
Yeah.
If you're running trucks all day,
100%,
so you're seeing a lot occur along I-85.
Yeah.
Whereas 77, the same is true, but that's more of a people mover, right?
It's the worst road in Charlotte.
It's terrible.
I hate it.
But it's I mean, you see these developers and these users. And one of the most important things, within their geographical parameters are identifying a location that has good access and
to
can
all
get you
those
from one city to the next.
Checks all the boxes.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard Gaston County is kind of one of the next kind of area that's going to get. They're moving a lot of.
It's booming. Yeah, it's booming. I mean, we've seen millions of square feet deliver, over the last couple of years, and it's spreading further and further.
Yeah, I've
west.
heard that because I lived there for I don't know how long ago that was.
That's right. Yeah.
It wasn't much. happening out there that, I don't know, how long was that? That was like 4 years ago, maybe?
Right.
5 years ago? I don't remember. But I'm more familiarized with where I am, and even on like what your brother's
Rock
doing.
Thrill, baby.
Rock Thrill. I mean,
It's changed a lot.
It has changed a ton. Like, so we had no idea about Rock Hill. The only reason we picked Rock Hill is because it was so much cheaper to buy a house in Rock Hill than Charlotte.
Right.
And you're still so close. So we're like, oh, let's just go for it. We had no idea. And then it's like after a year of us living there, they decided they were just going to revamp the entire downtown.
Yeah, absolutely.
They had like, I mean, I think we went from having like one brewery, maybe two. Now there's 5. And then they're
That's the metric of growth is how many breweries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Because Charlotte's probably got like what, 70?
It certainly seems that way. There's a new one every week. But I mean, even in Rock Hill, I mean, to get to the state line, it doesn't take very long. But proximity to Uptown, and to the second busiest international airport in North America. You know, it's not like you've got a 2-hour commute.
Everything's like
to get
within
to
30 minutes, you know.
Right.
We have buddies that used to live uptown, and we would go up there, and it would take, it's like 30 minutes to get to, like, Center City, Charlotte for a Panthers game or, like, whatever. And then, you know, like you said, 30 minutes to the airport. But
no trips up to the Panthers game right now. Panthers games.
We did. It was 9-7. Thrilling.
9-7. It was a really
game
good
was nuts.
JV game.
I was at the edge of my seat the whole time. It was
tickets at 45 cents. I think we saw.
Yeah. Were they?
I've got a photo on my phone.
Legit.
45 cents.
Yeah, they panned. They like did like the side thing, and I was actually surprised with how many people I saw. Like it was like a decent amount of people for a 1-12 Panthers team in the freezing cold rain.
There were a lot of blue seats.
There were a lot of blue seats. There were a lot.
The weather doesn't help, but
it was like raining sideways. I kept seeing Bryce's face. He was like squinting his eyes, like, and like trying to not
making it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I don't know how long I've been doing this for, but I don't know if there's any. Unless you don't have anything else, do you?
No, I guess we can shut it down just with saying the fact that value the partnership that
100%
we have created, and appreciate the level of professionally the level you guys have
absolutely
handled the relationships with our clients, and I hope there's many more opportunities.
There will be many more, and for people, if you're an industrial person, I guess there are industrial people that watch these. We have some viewers. We have fans. We'll tag you.
Okay.
So if they want to, if you want to find Alek, if you need his assistance in anything, LinkedIn. I don't know exactly all the socials they post. LinkedIn, Facebook. I don't even know.
I don't have most of them.
But
I have a LinkedIn.
We do have LinkedIn. Just go to LinkedIn, and you'll find you'll see him, and you can get in touch with him. And then that's it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. We'll see y'all next time.